to help me God.
Hello, Mr. Ture. Welcome to the TRRC.
Mr. Ture, Bismillah, TRRC.
You are being called to testify about the discovery of dead bodies at Tanjeba Reserve. Sometime in 2005. And before you testify, I want to remind you that it's a criminal offense to provide false or misleading testimony. And also, it is an offense to provide false or misleading information to the Commission. Do you understand that?
Yes, I understand.
All right. So, Mr. Ture, what are your full names?
Mr. Ture, my name is Usainu Ture.
Date and place of birth?
19 June 1966.
I was born on 19th June 1966
in Kintakunda, Janea.
At Kintakunda, Janea.
And where did you go to school?
Senegal, primary secondary Senegal.
I did my primary school and secondary school all in Senegal.
And did you go to university?
University
Na Karkirin Damare Keje, because there was a Penkole Sotanung, riot Sotanung.
I spent only 1 month at the university because it coincided with a big riot there. So after that riot, I was unable to continue my
which
education.
University was that?
University Jumalti.
Sheikh Anta Diop, Senegal, Dakar.
It was Sheikh Anta Diop in Dakar, Senegal.
What was your course of study?
University Nyinto.
Economics start at the.
I started studying economics at that university.
Okay, but now currently, what is your qualification?
And then master degree on protected area management.
I have a master's degree in protected area management.
And this is in which specialization?
That is to take care of the flora and fauna, the things living in the forest, to take care of them and the forest itself.
And what is your current occupation? Or position?
Deputy Director of Parks and Wildlife, Barry. Second at National Environment Agency.
I'm the Deputy Director of Parks and Wildlife Department, but now I am on secondment at the National Environment Agency.
The project dole coordinate kanje land and seascape planning and ecosystem restoration project.
I am presently over a project, conducting a project there, which is land and seascape protection.
Land and seascape planning.
Land and seascape planning.
And ecosystem
restoration.
Big name, huh?
Toba.
Yeah.
Big job too.
Adundo Kuba Fanang.
Definitely. This will be for the next 5 years, yeah.
And this project is for the next 5 years.
But you worked at the Parks and Wildlife Department, isn't it?
Dogo bunda la me anan ko tolo marling wula kono fengolla aning na danna wala Kenya.
Department of Parks and Wildlife Management.
Yes, I worked at the Parks and Wildlife Management Department.
Do you recall in 2005 where you worked?
For yakilo sa mudano 2005 sa ngono benum do ko la damen bang.
2005 benum do ko la benum abuko bare otumo ndelbe maraling Tangier.
I was stationed at Buko in that year 2005, but I was also responsible for the Tangier area.
Do you recall where you were in July 2005?
Yakilo sa mudano July karo 2005 benum mintole.
July 2005 otumo mbotnang karamola.
July 2005, I've just arrived from studies abroad.
South Africa and diploma.
I did my diploma in South Africa.
There was a project during biodiversity management and institutional project during that time.
When I came back, I was given a project, biodiversity ikanimu.
Biodiversity management and institutional strengthening.
Biodiversity management and institutional strengthening.
Project so no project start
that was the that was the project which was given to me. That's why I left Tanje and went to Abuko.
Mike.
Thank you, guys. Do you recall 22nd July 2005?
For yakilo sa mudano July karo tilmondim fula 2005 sa ngono bang menketa.
Very much.
Yes, I remember it.
Where were you working at that time?
What all I do kono mintolenu.
Abuko, but Tanje Bental Koto because na director of Mantara Jenu.
I was stationed at Abuko, but I was still responsible for the Tanje area.
Which aspects of government work were you responsible for in Tanje area?
Ebe mara ni monza kundala mundo ku fanna ju sifa nyadi la wato mele ben Tanje la jeto.
Tanje Bird Reserve, Mudula the government layer put aside to protect the fauna and flora of this country.
Tanje Bird Reserve was an area which was created by the government so that the flora and fauna living around or in that area can be protected.
How do you protect that area?
Kaje tankandini nyadi le.
We have people that are recruited and formed as a patrolmen that goes on patrol. Well, molu bembuluje many along konketa wolle kata kantaro la kayayin patrol.
And what is their job in patrolling that place?
Muna mwila do kwoti ni ko katara murumurun kan dingira nyingoto.
Wal kata do ko somanda fowraro waru don ka timol divide into groups. Nindol tato wulo kono ni molje men be tinyaro kala comme ka yurol boy ka da fengol fa ike arrest e samana officer to ngane samo police. Well, we used to divide them sometimes into groups or teams who we release to go into the bush. If they find people who are destroying the forest, like cutting trees without permission or killing animals in the bush without permission, they are arrested and brought to us. Then we take them to the police.
In essence, their job is to monitor and patrol this protected area to discover any unlawful activity that is going on in there.
Munta ila dogo minti wala mnyinti ko ka dinkiranye kaje kusonson ka katara murumurun kan ka jube ko ku yalon ko abe tama kan je yalon ko wanta yalam ane luwa wanta yebulo
wala mutonya. That's the truth.
Do you recall this 23rd day of July 2005?
Oyagilo sa mudano July karo tilimon 2005 sang kono ko bang.
Yes, I can remember that day.
Could you tell us what happened that day?
Isa fono nyamuna keta wolungo nying.
I was at home at that time. I was resident at Bakote.
At Bakote layout.
At the Bakote layout.
Na staff do vije atomu Dembo Kasamalt.
There is a member of staff working under me called Dembo Kasama.
Because weekend duty
So it coincided with a weekend, and the weekend duty in those days only one person mans the office.
At this time, where was your Director General?
Director Dr. Almami Kamara and Tamadano.
The Director Almami Kamara had traveled at that time.
Because I tell you, Gambia focal point on the Convention on Biological Diversity.
He was the focal person in the Gambia here on biological diversity.
And did that have any impact on your position?
Ate kola ala assistant of Alpha Umar Jallo.
After him, his assistant also called Alpha Omar Jallo.
Afanan tamada because utumu afanan atalumu biosafety la national focal point.
He also traveled because by that time he was the biosafety focal person in this country.
Ning international conference on CBD, it will move to Belaka Gambia represent.
And if there is an international conference on CBD, both of them go and represent the Gambia.
And CBD would stand for Convention on Biodiversity.
CBD akoto the World Convention on Biodiversity.
Voilà.
Yes, that's it.
So, and these two had both traveled out of the country.
Yes, both of them were out of the country at that time.
How did that impact your position?
Before leaving Tanje to go for further studies, I was the manager at Tanje. And after my return from studies, the area still remained under my supervision.
And then also you move to new old Botaje Otomo, the most senior person at the department.
And also, if these two people happen to travel out of the country, I become, as I am always the senior person there, I take over.
So on this date, you are running the office. You are acting as director.
Yes, that's true.
So you are overseeing the department.
Yes, on that day I was responsible.
All right. And what happened with Dembo Kasam?
Well, just like I was working with Dembo at that time, we were people who were very good and we were in agreement too.
I remember brilliant because
I can remember when I was newly employed, he was the person who used to take me into the bush to train me what to do in the bush. Then he told me there are people who came to fetch firewood from the bush, but those people gave him an information.
The
information that they gave him was that they saw a corpse in the bush.
And
so when he went to confirm, because he cannot just call me without confirming the information given to him. So when he went to confirm the information, when he was going, the first corpse he saw, he showed that corpse to the people who gave him the information, but they told him, no, this one is not the one we saw. There's another corpse. The one we saw is different from this. Then he went and he witnessed, he saw these two corpses. That was the time he called me to give me that information. Then I boarded a vehicle and rushed to the place. When I reached that place, I got another new information again. They have seen another two corpses, which is different from the two corpses initially seen. So I went to inspect all those corpses.
How many corpses did you inspect at this time?
At that time, I inspected 4 corpses because these were the 4 corpses which were which they told me about.
Can you describe what you saw?
Ning hakiro manina.
If I can remember properly.
Ara mere sanji tanning woro kata woro rakangam.
It has been a long time because now it must be around 16 to 17 years.
Nga itara laring ikonoleka.
We found them all lying on their stomach.
Nada men korosije kadum wildlife doko.
But later what we discovered there, because the job in the wildlife department,
in Southern African College.
the training we had at the Southern African College,
If
you find somebody in the bush who has been injured or who is dead, you should check out what is the cause of his death, whether he was killed by an animal or whatever has killed him. But we didn't see any sign to show us that he was killed by an animal.
What did you see on those corpses?
Some of them were naked. They were not wearing shirts.
Yes, thank you.
They were just wearing trousers, but they were not wearing any shirts. When we went on to search more, they were bleeding from the mouth and their noses.
Did that indicate to you that they did not die too long before you saw them?
Because
the blood that was coming out of their nose and mouth were already dried. Because at that time it was after 2 o'clock and a little bit before the 5 o'clock prayers.
So,
some of them were already stiff. If you want to turn them, the whole body will turn around.
Rigor mortis.
Yeah. And then,
and what we discovered also, well, not all of them, but 1 or 2 had bullet wounds around their neck area. And most of them had problems on their skull, their faces.
So
that's what we observed, but later on a lot of people came to meet us there.
From what you saw,